The story begins in a small American town called Paradise. This is a true story that started on the evening of November 7, 2018. At this time, a man named Kevin, who is a school bus driver, was about to drop off all the children at their homes. After that, he parked the bus in the garage and asked his boss if he could do a little overtime this month. But the boss said, "Look, there are many people older than you here. If overtime is needed, preference will be given to seniors first. If there's still a need, I'll let you know." Then, when Kevin reached home, he received a call from the doctor who was treating his dog. The doctor informed him that his dog's cancer had slowly spread throughout its body. "You need to make a decision as soon as possible. It would be best to put it to sleep." Worried, Kevin started spending the last remaining hours with his dog. But as soon as Kevin found out that his son hadn't gone to school again today, he became even more troubled. His son, Sean, kept making new excuses every day to not go to school. Kevin tried to make him understand that studies are important. Sean knew that his father hadn't completed his education. So he started saying to Kevin, "You also left school in the middle. What will happen if I leave too?" Kevin tried to explain, "Have you gone crazy? I had no choice. You are getting the opportunity, right? And why are you repeating the mistake I made?" But Sean just got irritated and turned up the volume of the music so that he couldn't hear his father's words. Kevin worked hard day and night to keep his family happy. He wanted to see his son live a better life. Anyway, feeling sad, Kevin now headed to the doctor with his dog. When it had come into Kevin's life, it was just a small, cute puppy. For such a long time, it had been Kevin's closest friend. With a heavy heart, he told the doctor, "Put it to sleep. I can't see it suffer anymore." The next day, the weather suddenly turned very bad. Strong winds started blowing. The storm wouldn't stop. Then there was a loud explosion in an electric pole, and power lines fell onto the dry mountains. In no time, fire spread everywhere. That very morning, when Kevin reached his workplace, he noticed the sky was somewhat dark. Then, as usual, he took his bus and left to drop the children at school. When Kevin returned, Ruby told him to take the bus to the mechanic. "Get it serviced. I'll give you overtime for it." At that very moment, the fire department received a call from a truck driver who informed them about the fire in the mountains. Hearing this, the entire department sprang into action. They headed straight to where the fire was. A little while later, they began to see flames. On the other hand, Kevin was doing his duty, but then he received a call from his mother. She told him that Sean was very sick. "We will have to take him to the hospital soon." Meanwhile, the team of firefighters was about to reach close to the fire. Just then, Mackenzie calculated that facing the fire would be very dangerous. They would need to call the backup team immediately. "It's not just about our bus." Before leaving the bus for service, Kevin called his mother and said, "Check once if Sean has a very high fever." But then he saw clouds of smoke and black ash moving towards them. At the same time, he quickly went to get medicine for his son. To minimize damage and prevent the fire from spreading, the fire chief ordered the entire town's electricity to be shut off. But by now, the fire had become very dangerous. Several houses in the surrounding area were engulfed in flames, and people there began to panic to get out of the area. Seeing people coming out of houses caught in the flames, Hopkins understood that things had escalated badly now. He immediately called the medical team as well. On his way home, Kevin received a call from his boss, Ruby, who ordered him to quickly bring the bus back to the garage. "Fire is spreading all over the place." But Kevin was more worried about his son than his job. Ignoring the orders, he stopped at a pharmacy. Coming out of the store, Kevin saw that the cloud of smoke was getting thicker, and now, to save his job, he started moving towards the garage as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, the fire chief learned that trucks wouldn't be able to reach where the fire was, so they began requesting airplanes to help stop the fire spreading in the mountains. Their trucks were busy rescuing the remaining people from that area. When Hopkins realized he wouldn't be able to get everyone out in time before the fire reached them, he stopped the vehicle near a small pond and told everyone to run into the water. Asking for help, he tried to keep everyone calm and safe. Meanwhile, at headquarters, considering the wind direction, it was calculated that soon the town of Paradise would come under the grip of this fire. Therefore, orders were issued to evacuate the entire town of Paradise. But due to the widespread fire and lack of electricity, all signals failed. Due to strong winds, aircraft were also unable to control the fire, and now teachers started looking for a way to get the children home. On his way to the garage, Kevin received a call from his ex-wife, Linda, who had found out that Sean was sick. Linda shouted, "You shouldn't have left him with me. What are you paying attention to?" Saying this, Linda hung up. Because of this, Kevin, upset, stopped the car and tried calling his son, but there was no answer. Then he suddenly turned the bus towards his home. Meanwhile, Mary was sending children back from school with their parents, and for those whose parents hadn't arrived, she asked the principal what to do now. Just then, the principal called the garage and requested a bus. Ruby asked all the drivers, "Who is near the school?" Then Kevin replied, "I will pick up the children." Reaching outside the school, he honked. But no one could hear the horn. After that, he ran into the classroom and asked Mary to help him take the children to the bus. Mary felt she wouldn't be able to handle so many children alone. So she also got on the bus with the children, and both of them started looking for the fastest and shortest route out of Paradise School. All roads had dangerous traffic jams, so Kevin tried to go through the wrong lane. But then suddenly, a fire truck appeared. They were about to collide but narrowly escaped. There were also small fires on the side of the road. They passed over it and reached a safe place. Meanwhile, Ruby was trying to talk to Kevin on the radio, but there was no response. Then she had her assistant call, and it was discovered that Kevin's phone had no signal either. At that very moment, orders were given to evacuate the entire town of Paradise before the fire reached it, because the fire was now completely out of control. After one last unsuccessful attempt to talk to Kevin, Ruby and all the other employees also left the garage and headed towards the nearest town, because now everyone's life was in danger in that town. During the journey, Kevin started talking to Mary so that he could calm down a bit, and then he found out that Mary had spent her entire life in this small town, whereas Kevin had left here in his youth. He had returned only a few months ago when he received the news of his father's passing. Amidst this chaos, Mary tried to calm herself by remembering her 15-year-old son, Jake, and her husband. After calming down, she went to the back to check on the children and was trying her best to encourage them. Just then, it was discovered that the hospital had also come under the grip of the fire. Ray sent his team to rescue the patients, and then he received news that the fire was spreading much faster than they had thought. While looking for an escape route for people, the firefighters found that all roads were jammed because many drivers had abandoned their cars in the middle of the road and run away. Then Ray ordered his men to remove the cars stuck in the jam. Otherwise, more people would be caught in the fire due to being stuck. When Kevin learned that the highway was also jammed, he panicked badly and once again called his son, but Sean was still not answering the phone. Kevin became even more worried about him because he knew his grandmother wouldn't be able to take him in the car. Seeing the fire approaching, Kevin told Mary to take the steering wheel, and he himself got down and started trying to clear the jam a little so that they could get out of there quickly. After clearing the way a bit, Kevin took the steering wheel again. Thinking this, he breathed a sigh of relief that they were now only a few meters away from Paradise School, but their troubles had just begun. Reaching there, they saw that the school was also burning in flames, and due to the radio being off, Ruby couldn't even inform him about this. Soon, Mary got off the bus. She hoped that some of the children's parents might have come looking for them here, but she soon realized that no one was here. All the people had left. She didn't know what to do. She told Kevin that they needed to take the children to another town quickly. Perhaps the other people had also gone there to escape the fire. Seeing fire and ash all around them, the children were very scared. They felt they would never see their parents again. But Mary was trying her best to calm them down somehow. When Kevin moved towards a big highway to get out of this area, he saw an electric wire swaying, and then suddenly one of the wires broke and fell down. Because of this, several accidents occurred. To save the bus from the current of that wire, Kevin had to take another route. He broke through a wooden wall in front and moved ahead. After this dangerous turn, he reached the highway, but seeing that the entire road was destroyed, he was shocked. Between the cars, firefighters and police officers were risking their lives to rescue people somehow. Just then, Kevin's eyes fell on some armed people who were forcibly looting cars. They started trying to take the bus too. To keep the children safe, Kevin drove the bus into the other lane and, cutting one after another, somehow crossed the path. Meanwhile, in the neighboring town, Ruby was trying to find out if there was any trace of Kevin. He was driving a bus full of children, but one driver said he hadn't arrived here yet. On this, Ruby tried to reassure the children's parents. But how could they calm down? They were very worried about their children. Meanwhile, Kevin was a few miles from the main road. Then he reached near a workshop where he used to work in his youth. According to his knowledge, there was a road on the other side of that building that would take them out of the city. They were about to leave when the health of one of the children on the bus started deteriorating badly. This smoke and panic had greatly affected the children's bodies. Seeing this, Mary asked Kevin to stop the vehicle, and she went out to find water for the child. Leaving, she told Kevin that if she didn't return in 5 minutes, continue the journey without her. Mary, while searching for water there, entered a van and found a crate full of water bottles there. She was running back towards the bus when she saw an armed man on the way. But then suddenly there was an explosion behind. Because of this, the man's attention was diverted, and Mary ran and got on the bus. Kevin started the bus's engine, but the fire from the explosion blocked his path, and he had to go around a bit to reach the bus. Shortly after exiting the workshop, the bus reached a deserted dirt road. Kevin explained that this road would take them back to the main highway. But the problem was that to reach there, they had to cross a large valley where the road was very narrow. This path was very narrow. If there was even a slight mistake, they would lose their lives. On the way, Kevin saw some people going in the direction from where Kevin had come. Then he understood that the main road must have already been taken over. When those people left, Kevin got down and carefully checked if they had any way to get out of here. Soon he realized that their bus had come right in the middle of the fire. No one would be able to reach them to rescue them. Kevin returned to the bus and concluded that there was only one way to save the children. Now they would have to wait inside the bus. Kevin hoped that the firefighters would extinguish the fire before it reached them, but if that didn't happen, they would soon die. During this time, Kevin asked Mary to help him. Cutting small pieces of his shirt, he told Mary to soak these clothes in water so that the children could use them as air filters, and at the same time, Kevin started sealing all the ducts with tape to prevent smoke from entering the bus. After doing all this, he started praying to God. After several hours of unsuccessful attempts to control the fire, Betty requested to speak to her boss privately. She reported that they were receiving reports that many people were trapped inside their cars due to the fire. Additionally, thousands of people were running around on foot to save their lives, and if the firefighters couldn't bring this disaster under control as soon as possible, the number of casualties would be in the thousands by morning. Hearing all this, Ray realized he had to choose between fighting the fire and rescuing people. Since many people were trapped, he ordered all his firefighters to focus on getting people out as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, in the bus, Kevin asked the children to stay away from the windows because the glass was starting to get hot due to the extremely high temperature. Now he sat in his seat, calming his mind, and waited for help. Meanwhile, Mary said, "In my entire life, I've only stepped out of this town twice, once on a holiday and the second time on my honeymoon." Since childhood, Mary believed she was completely safe in her small town, but now she was realizing that this was no way to live. She promised herself that if she survived this fire, she would travel the whole world. She wouldn't live suffocated in one place like this. Like Mary, Kevin also remembered many things seeing death in front of him. 28 years ago, he had an argument with his father one evening. "I was 16 years old. I got so angry that I left home. Then one day, my mother suddenly called and said Dad is very sick. I thought I'd meet one last time and fix everything. But by the time I returned, he was gone." After losing his father, Kevin thought he would keep his relationship with his son right. But things weren't particularly good on that front either. Thinking this, Kevin started crying that he had neither been a good father nor a good son. At the same time, as soon as Kevin realized the fire was approaching the bus, he quickly grabbed a fire extinguisher and went outside to extinguish the surrounding fire to buy them more time. He and Mary kept trying to prolong the children's lives as much as possible. When he realized he wouldn't be able to stop the fire from reaching the vehicle, they would have to go through the blanket of fire. At that very moment, he found out that the engine had stopped working due to the heat. So he quickly ran to fix it. After a while, he told Mary sitting inside to turn the key quickly. Fortunately, the engine started. Now Kevin quickly took the steering wheel and pressed hard on the gas to drive the vehicle through the fire. As they passed through the flames, the children panicked and felt they might never see their parents again. At that moment, Mary was also very scared. She had internally accepted her death. But Kevin had decided that he would do whatever it took to deliver the children safely to their parents. Within just a few minutes, he managed to drive the vehicle out of the fire. Shortly after, they finally reached the road, away from the clouds of smoke hovering over the town of Paradise. Kevin finally breathed a sigh of relief. Mary couldn't believe that they had survived. A little later, the bus reached the refugee center in the neighboring town, and the children were reunited with their parents. After seeing that all the children had been handed over to their parents, Mary hugged Kevin happily and thanked him for getting them all safely to the shelter. Just then, she saw her sister standing with her son, and she was very happy to see that both were safe because Stephen was out of town, so Mary knew he wasn't in danger. On the other hand, when Kevin met Ruby, tears came to Ruby's eyes. Ruby saluted his bravery, saying, "Even in such a time of trouble, you kept working." Anyway, after completing his mission, Kevin was worried about his mother and son. Checking the list, he found that their names weren't even there. Panicking, Kevin started searching the entire shelter for his family. Then he saw his mother being treated near an ambulance. So Kevin immediately went to her and asked, "Mom, how did you get here?" Jerry told him, "Our neighbor brought me straight here from home, while Sean was taken by his mother, Linda." As soon as she heard the news of the fire spreading, she quickly reached Paradise to save her son. Hearing this, Kevin finally breathed a sigh of relief. The next day, when the firefighters managed to get the fire under control, Kevin went to his house to see what was left. He saw that everything had burned to ashes. Picking up a faded picture of his son's childhood, Kevin looked at his house with sadness. Just then, he saw a car approaching him. As soon as Linda parked the car, Sean got out and ran to hug his father. In that moment, Kevin became sure that it wasn't too late. He could still be a good father. He could improve his relationship with his son and would do whatever was necessary for it. If you liked the video, do like it. Subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.